Welcome back to Factorio SpaceX Extreme, where I have put down something that some would possibly consider cheaty. If we look back on the commands, this one here inserts basically a developer infinite energy interface. You can go into the GUI, you can change these things. So I am thinking this should give me about 8 times 8.3 gigawatts, which is enough for our demands, and as long as that never drops below 720 gigawatts, I don't actually need to use the nuclear. So, the reason we're going to do this, of course, is to try and fix UPS, which seems to be tanking rather badly at the moment, actually. Wow. It could be because we are cracking over 300,000 circuits per minute, but certainly circuits is our the thing that's holding us up right now. We're still under 500k plates, and our potential is actually over about 750,000 plates per minute. So we're nowhere near our potential, and it's circuits that are holding us up. But we know that the nuclear is inefficient, which is why we put the advanced nuclear mod in the first place. So what I want to do to avoid being cheaty in terms of power, I mean, in reality, there is absolutely no problem. Here we go. 31,000 uranium-235, 31,000 uranium-238, and in a box we have, where's the uranium fuel? There it is. 660 fuel cells, and it's 660 because I've limited it to that. I could easily have had it built several thousand. It would not be an issue. We have tons of 4.1 million there. This one's been depleted quite a lot, and this one over here has been depleted quite a lot, but it doesn't matter. There's tons on the map if it really came down to it. What I intend to do, that I think is not cheaty, I think is reasonable, is rip out all the nuclear except the reactors. So the reactors will keep burning nuclear fuel. We'll keep having to make it. We've got no problem making it, but we will use this free, as far as UPS goes, power source instead of this expensive nuclear power source. So I just want to keep monitoring the fact that 720 is not dropping. Oh, okay. 25 UPS is not good. Let's get our, let's make sure I'm not carrying good. I'm not. Let's get our bots to work. Just rip this stuff out. If I have to, I'll go back to my save if this all doesn't work. But I have plenty more of these things if something goes wrong. And actually at this point I'll just spawn in more and more. If it really didn't work. But I think the way I've set it up, it doesn't actually use any of the power. It just allows you to use 8 gigawatts per cheaty accumulator. If you like, we'll call them cheaty accumulators. I'm fine with that. But it's not a mod, it's actually a developer tool. And yeah, it will be interesting to see, once all of this comes out, what our UPS saving is getting rid of the nuclear. And I could get rid of this too, probably, because it's sort of irrelevant. It's probably charging off our other stuff. So this is based on the same idea as the advanced nuclear in a respect, as in it cuts down. You're still effectively doing, whoops, let's not do that. You're still effectively doing nuclear by virtue of still burning it, but still burning the same quantity of fuel, just we are not paying the UPS price. They were probably paying an even bigger price right at this second, being the price of what's going on up here, being the price of all of these robots running around. And where we got 1,000 construction robots stripping this out. Well, we're going to keep them busy for a while, see what happens. Over here, we had some more thrusters launched, so that is good to see progress, because the progress is relatively slow at this point. When we first started up this last phase, we were getting relatively common launches of the super expensive components, but now it is somewhat reduced, it would be fair to say. But that's okay. So 25 or so UPS, it will be very interesting to see what we are able to get once all of this fluid calculations come to a halt. So we built all of this as natural nuclear. The capability of all this is natural nuclear in the first place. And B, we have, I might possibly be losing power to some of these roboports soon. Maybe I should do this from the other end. Yeah, I better be a little bit careful of that. Okay, after I finish this one, I will go up the other end and start removing from there. In fact, I'll start it now. Oh, we've already lost power. I'm going to have to restore power to the nuclear. I don't need another one of those. I know where I did it. I cut out the nuclear power just to see if everything would work. Actually, these things should still be getting power from themselves. Oh, whatever. I'll temporarily re-engage them from here. Hopefully that will work. So what have we got now? 20.8, that's fine. And 720, that's fine. Okay. We still have our little wood burner going strong. And yeah, I mean, given we're burning the exact same fuel and we've spent all the resources to build the infrastructure, and we've even allocated all the land, I'm not going to reuse the land for anything. I'll treat it as though the nuclear is still there. All those things under consideration. I don't think in any way this is cheating, it's just a UPS fix. Because we need it. Oh, come on. And once we have got this in place, or out of place, we will go back to tuning the factory, because there certainly is some tuning that can and should be done. This is what I may have said this already, and if I'm repeating myself, I apologize, but this is what I find a lot more interesting about using SpaceX for an in-game experience. I mean, of course I'm biased since I built SpaceX, but using SpaceX for the in-game experience is so much more interesting and satisfying to me than a let's build super science and just pump out infinite research, because that gets pretty tedious. It's like, well, what now? Whereas SpaceX, your resource mix requirement is continually changing. So even though we have a fully automated production line build to the specified requirements, and I don't need to touch that, I don't need to go anywhere near the launches and press launch buttons or anything like that, because thank goodness the developers have enabled us to have those launches happen automatically. In spite of all of that, there is still stuff to do in SpaceX when you're at this stage of the game. And that, I mean, you could just leave the game running and it will eventually get it all done, probably, assuming the ore patches don't run out. And that's a pretty big assumption, because that's something else that I'm going to attend to as well. Probably set up some alarms so I can see which, if any, or whatever. Actually, I might slow down ripping these out, because I probably need some of these guys to provide power to the robo ports to ensure there's coverage. So let's just let it do that for a moment and talk about our options. So production wise, we can't maintain the super high levels. We keep having processing units drop off, which I assume is due to resource shortages. I'm not entirely sure. I have to check. But certainly, I mean, we know that in the main base, well, look, we've got enough electronic circuits, which actually is a surprise to me. But we're short of red and blue circuits kind of constantly. And I actually thought green was causing the problem with regard to red and blue, but maybe I'm mistaken. So that's basically red at its absolute max with our separate red processing going. It's not blue at its absolute max. I'm not exactly sure what's governing blue. I know this can be pushed a lot more. We've seen the combined over 600,000 during the playthrough. So that would suggest that we can create more circuits, and in so doing we would probably speed things up. So if we look at the map, not this part of it, but over here, that's the red circuits there. This is the green circuit stack. We could probably increase both of these stacks, actually. Wow, my extra stack here is being used. Kind of amazing. So a lot of iron now, and well, and still quite a lot of copper. So that, I mean, this is part of the reason why it ends up, this sort of system, a delivery system, is kind of part of the reason why it ends up sort of the fluctuation of production, because the trains can't unload unless this says there's room for them to unload, which that one doesn't, but these two do. So there should be an iron train come here and one in here very shortly. That one won't let one in. That one will immediately let another copper train in because it's being used that fast. So we'll see a little bit of movement coming through. Let's turn that grid off for the moment. I used that so I could disconnect the nuclear to make sure that this new power source would continue to function without a problem. So yeah, that's, I mean, that's fine. that's kind of coping. As long as we don't have a huge backup coming out here, that's the main thing. So yeah, what I was thinking was that this is where the stack is. If I was to increase the stack, we would need to fill in more landfill, but also all these bugs are going to be a problem. So we will have to introduce them to our nukes. I might even try something a bit different to what I've done before. I might film that, turn the music right down to nothing, leave the sound effects on, probably not speak, record a voiceover maybe after, but then speed up the footage an appropriate amount, and then you can just see some nuclear mayhem in fast motion while we wipe out, all of this with 200 or 300 nukes. Something like that sounds like fun. How are we going with the removal? Let's turn on RoboPort. Good. I just want to make sure that that doesn't get broken while we are ripping this all out. It does look like it's going to take a while. No radar there, obviously. It does look like it's going to take quite... That one doesn't have any power. Quite a while. 1,000 construction robots are busy doing it. All these guys are still running at whatever ridiculous temperature the advanced nuclear has forced them to be at. Let's put this away for a moment, have a look at F5. So the construction manager is not actually using that much when we're only talking of 1,000 bots, although I wonder if the logistic manager sort of kicks into that as well. Trains, that's an awful lot. Trains Pathfinder, not so much. Entity update, not much you can do about that, unfortunately. The electric network. Now I'm wondering if that's all the fluid mechanics in the nuclear, or whether that is just having the nuclear network, the power network period, that results in that sort of draw. I'm not really sure. I may even put a cut here, I think, and we can see I'll come back when this whole process has finished. That seems like a good idea to me, so I will see you soon. Welcome back to Factorio SpaceX Extreme. Okay, sorry, well that's my beginning intro, because it's been a little while to have this thing clear up everything. We were at about 25. Oh, it's hard to say. This jumps around quite a lot. I'm thinking it was in the order of 3.5 UPS, maybe. We're still experiencing issues around resources. Let me just show you the map, so you can see. I've pulled out most of the roboports, but we've still got some radars down here. You can't actually see the radars there, but you can see these machines are still operating. So we're still burning nuclear fuel as though we had the full setup. We just have less of it so that our UPS doesn't plummet even further. Now, what are we going to do in the future? Well, first of all, we had another protection field and another thruster launch while all that was going on, which is always good. We're getting very close to another FTL drive. Actually, let's have a very quick peek down here. We're still quite some time off another fusion reactor though. They really are quite slow to produce. But the FTL drives, we've actually completed one. So it's whatever is going to pair with it to get launched. That one needs to get to 1600 blues, so it might not be too far away. And the protection field is actually not too far away either. So that is interesting. Anyway, what I have noticed while all that was going on is that the electronic circuits are periodically jumping in and out, and well, let's go to the production map actually. 10 minutes, and we don't want you, or any of these other things which we won't have anymore. So this is green circuits. It's jumping around all over the place. This one's red circuits. It's sort of up and down a bit. Is it more easy to see over an hour? Yeah, you can see the green circuit is really quite a violent jump around, and blues as well is moving a lot. So what I did, of course, is now that we have the light system over here, is I checked out, well, what's going on, and it seems that green circuits are holding up our ability to create red circuits, which is somewhat unfortunate. Where are you going? You are going to red EC drop-off. Where are you going? You're going to red EC drop-off as well. Okay. Does that mean that there's no... Yeah, there's none. And how many... where are you going? You're going to electronic circuit drop-off. So, let's just check this. There's only 2 trains coming here. Given that this is completely out, I don't think that's enough. So what I am going to do is take this train, make a copy, and paste it onto this one. So there's now 3 trains going to the red circuit drop-off. Everything... No, not everything's working. That's interesting. Why aren't these guys working? We're short of resources. It's working now. Why are you sleepy? Oh, there's no iron up here. There should be. Do they need to have greater amounts of iron ordered? We've asked for 2K. Not sure. The bottom set all seem to be running. They've slowly all picked up their game. So you're going to EC red circuit as well, aren't you? And you... Okay, well maybe that is better. You agree? I need to put radars in here. Yes, 28 is somewhat more fine. Now we actually had enough green circuits here already, but we didn't have up here, so I am going to need to put some logic in terms of which pathway I let these guys to, so that's something we can do. And we're also going to need to blow this up, and I'm also going to need to put some lights over here. So, I think our combined episode of stripping out the nuclear UPS wastage was it was good. It's been done. I think we're getting benefit from it. Let's close that off and quickly look at F5. I don't know why the construction manager has all these jobs, because there's no constructions underway, but never mind. Logistic manager hasn't really changed. Electric network probably hasn't changed very much. we have probably had a small benefit in the entity update. It's hard to tell because of the fluctuations we're seeing in the circuit build. That's obviously hitting UPS, because obviously when everything's producing at a higher level, we're being hit a little bit harder. Anyway, let's get rid of F5, bring this back up. We will get one of these launches soon, but probably not before I close the episode, because I'm about to close the episode right now. Next time we will, well, I'll sort out this little, I'll create a switcheroo here, although maybe it will sort itself out now that we have one more train coming up here. There you go. On, off, on, off. I mean, eventually it won't be able to unload, it will just sit there and all the trains will go up there. One of these going to, that's going to red drop off, and that's going to, right, that's okay. Alright, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.